Hello. Our school values for this half term are gentleness and joy. And in our times of worship together, we've been thinking about those values, but we've also marked some other special times, such as we had Remembrance a few weeks ago. And today I'm going to be thinking with you about Christingle. Now, St John's Church would often be having a Christingle service in the next few weeks, and I want you to think for a moment whether you've ever been to one of those Christingle services at St John's or maybe somewhere else. Now I wonder whether you could pause me and someone in your class explain to the other children what a Christingle is. Now, Christingle means Christ light, and I've got all the parts and I'm going to make my own Christingle here. Now, it might not look exactly the same as the Christingles that you were given in church because we're in the second lockdown and I've had to make do with the best things that I've got in my house. And if you make a Christingle at home, it doesn't have to be perfect at all. It's just what you've got and what you can adapt. So I did manage to get an orange, and I didn't have the red ribbon, but I found this red cord and I pinned it at the back there. Okay, so the orange represents the world, and the red ribbon is the blood of Christ and Christ's love going around the whole world. And then I need my candle. Now I was thinking that I was going to have to use some of my party candles that I've got in a box in the kitchen, but I actually found this candle that I think is from one of last year's Christingles. And amazingly I had some cocktail sticks, and I'm going to put those in there. They're Haribo and raisins because that's what I had in my cupboard. Now, I wonder if anyone in your class knows what the candle represents and knows what the cocktail sticks and the fruits or sweets on them represents. You can pause me for a moment again. Well, the candle represents Jesus, the light of the world, Christ, the light of the world, and the 4 cocktail sticks, sometimes said to be the 4 seasons, and the sweets, all the fruits and good things that the world produces. Now, just pop that down for a moment, it'll come back in view a little later. Christingle comes from a German tradition, and we don't know exactly where it comes from, but there is a story that perhaps there's some truth to, or perhaps it's one that someone's written. But it's a nice story and it helps us understand again the parts of the Christingle. So I'll read it out to you. Many years ago, the children in a village were asked to bring a Christmas gift to put beside the crib in the church. One family was very poor and had no money for gifts, but the 3 children were still determined to take something. The only nice thing that they had was an orange, so they decided to give the Christ child that. But then they discovered that the top was going a little bit mouldy and green. So they cut it out and put a candle in the hole. To add some colour, one of the girls in the family took a red ribbon from her hair and tied it around the middle of the orange. It was hard to make the ribbon stay in place, so they fastened it in place with some toothpicks. The toothpicks looked a bit bare, so the youngest child added some raisins to them. The other children sneered at their meagre gift when they took it to church, but the priest, or vicar, seized upon it with joy. He held it up as an example of the true understanding of the meaning of Christmas. And he gave the following reasons. The orange is round like the world. The candle gives us light in the dark, like the love of God. The red ribbon goes around the world as a symbol of Christ's blood given for everyone. The 4 sticks point in all directions and symbolise that God is over north, south, east and west. And the fruit and the nuts remind us of God's blessing. So whether that story is completely true or not, I don't know, but it does help us to think about the different parts of the Christingle. Now I'm going to light my Christingle and end with a prayer. So there it is. Dear Jesus, thank you that you are the light of the world. Thank you that you are light in our world when it feels dark and difficult. Thank you that you are a light in our lives. Amen. Now, I would absolutely love it if you were able to make your own Christingles at home, perhaps with a little bit of help from a grown-up. And if you manage to do it, and remember it doesn't have to be exactly like this, doesn't have to be perfect, but it's good to have the symbols on there. I'd love to see a picture of it, and maybe you could send me one on Class Dojo. That would be brilliant. Have a lovely week.